I remember the looks on their faces, the sneers, the scoffs, the outright laughter when I announced I was going to be a game developer. It was more than just dismissive, it was contempt. My family, rooted in tradition and practicality, had always looked at my dreams with skepticism, an oddity, a reckless waste of time. They told me I was wasting my life, that I was foolish to chase something so intangible, so ridiculous. They said I'd fail and that I'd forever be an embarrassment to everything we stood for. For years, I listened. I felt the weight of their words pressing down on me, but deep inside, a stubborn spark refused to die. I poured everything I had into my passion, coding by night, grinding through endless setbacks, knowing every rejection letter or dead-end project was another step closer to proving them wrong. But every success felt hollow without their acknowledgement. Every setback stung with the echo of their doubt. It was a lonely journey, fueled by a desire not just to succeed, but to stand tall again. I endured financial struggles, sleepless nights, moments when I wanted to give in, to walk away and accept that I was too foolish to succeed. But I knew, deep down, that this was my purpose, my calling. I had to prove that my dreams weren't ridiculous, that they were valid and real, and that I could carve a place for myself in a world that had long dismissed me as a joke. Years passed. My hard work paid off in ways I created a game, an indie project born out of blood, sweat, and countless sacrifices that blew up beyond anything I dared hope. It didn't just find an audience, it became a phenomenon. Awards came, international recognition, interviews, speaking engagements. My name was now synonymous with a success that I'd fought tooth and nail to earn. It was the quiet moment I knew I had finally proved them wrong. I had built a life, a reputation, a future, all on my own terms. I was no longer the laughingstock, no longer the disappointment. I was a creator, a visionary, someone who had turned a ridiculous dream into reality. And so I returned home. The house hadn't changed much, but everything about how I felt standing there had shifted. I could see the familiar porch, the aging trees, the yard that knew my childhood memories. I was ready. I wanted them to see what I had become, to taste the bitter truth of their own dismissiveness. I parked my car, took a deep breath, and stepped out. My family greeted me with polite smiles, but I could see the flicker of curiosity, perhaps even apprehension. I didn't come just to visit. I came to rewrite their narrative, to deliver a silent but undeniable message. I was no longer their disappointment. I was proof that dreams, no matter how ridiculous, could become truth if you dare to pursue them with relentless resolve. Later that evening, I gathered them in the living room. I unpacked my laptop, the trophy awards, the news articles. Their eyes widened as I showed them the journey. Screenshots of my first failed prototype, the countless sleepless nights, the reviews, the sales figures. I saw the glances of disbelief. I saw the tentative realization dawning. Then I handed my father a small, wrapped box. He opened it cautiously. Inside was a copy of the game I had created, the one that had changed everything. He looked up, eyes moist, voice trembling. "You really did it," he whispered. "Yes," I said softly. "I did. Not despite your doubts, but because I refuse to let them define me. I proved that your words weren't truth. They were just fears hiding behind tradition. I chose my path and I walked it." The room fell silent, filled with a mix of awe and regret. I saw in their faces what I'd long hoped for: acknowledgement, understanding, perhaps even a flicker of pride. I thought about all the times they'd mocked me for dreaming differently, and I felt a strange peace, the kind that only comes when justice is served, not through revenge, but through truth. In that moment, I realized something profound. Karma isn't just about punishment for past wrongs. It's about justice, about balance. My journey wasn't just about proving them wrong. It was about discovering my own strength, my resilience, my purpose. And in doing so, I became something they never expected. A person who transformed mockery into triumph, doubt into conviction. As I turned to leave, I looked back at them, my family of skeptics, and I saw something I'd never seen before. A glimmer of genuine pride. Not because of the success I'd achieved, but because I had refused to be broken by their words, had forged my own destiny from the ashes of their doubt. I left knowing that the greatest victory wasn't in the awards or recognition, but in the quiet, powerful truth that I'd become the person I was always meant to be. And that, in the end, is the sweetest reward of all.